kick it.
Hello, all of you slimesters, and welcome to a conversation with. I'm so excited about this. I say that every episode. I'm so excited, but I am. We get to talk to so many cool people.
This one's big.
And for this episode, we are talking with Paul Klekotta. I hope I said that right. Did I say it right, Paul?
Yes, you did.
I got it. And Carl, again, is joining us for this episode. What's up, Carl?
What's up, Carl?
Man, such a pleasure to be back. I love you guys.
Oh, we love you.
We love you. We love having you. But Paul is the star of this episode. For those of you who don't know, Paul has worked the camera for many projects, some of them Nickelodeon, some Disney, and other projects, which we'll talk about just a variety of things. Obviously, we'll talk Nickelodeon with him. But Paul, how are you doing today, man?
Well, I must start off by saying your excitement and enthusiasm has reinvigorated and Carl especially, because you kind of think, okay, I'm going to take this all to my grave. Well, I mean, I'm 71, and you think, okay, nobody, just like Roundhouse has kind of been buried by Nickelodeon. I thought, okay, this is all past history that nobody cares about, but I was wrong. People do care about it.
Very much.
And I'd like to share and be part of preserving, especially Roundhouse. I think it got the short end of the proverbial stick.
Yes, I agree with you.
And to me, it needs to live again. It's like as if the Little Rascals had been buried and never seen by anybody after they did the first episode, because I think it's that classic TV that it deserves to be appreciated by future generations and the current generation. It's that good.
Yeah, it's a great show. Go ahead. What was you going to say, Manny?
I was going to say I'd never watched Roundhouse. I recently watched it about a year and a half ago, and in preparation for episodes and stuff that we do on the podcast. And I'm just amazed that all these kids were super talented, not to mention all the rehearsing, the dance moves, and the mile-a-minute humor. Like, they have to be on point no matter what. So I found that impressive, and that was an amazing show, and I can't believe I missed out on that growing up, but I'm so happy there is some episodes that are preserved that we can watch today. Definitely not many, but some that we do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was fortunate that I like to record stuff, and I at one time I had every episode recorded, copied on VHS high quality, and over the years I've somehow lost some seasons, but I'm glad I did that, because there are some episodes now that Carl has that are much better quality. Because the music, especially, I mean, is phenomenal.
I was really shocked when I started transferring those tapes to hear that opening soundtrack, full stereo. I mean, standard definition, but way better than the VHS rips that we have on YouTube. There were instruments that I had never even heard in the original recording. It was really cool to be able to experience it like that.
Well, and we think about the actors and the dancers, but the band and Benny Hester,
yes,
and the capabilities to record that live and produce music and write songs, and that's way beyond any other show I've ever worked on. To do it on a weekly, and a little side story too, because I had how phenomenal James Raymond and the band, James Raymond was a keyboard player, but I had done my own pilot, and I came in one day and said to the band, I got this song and I need it for my pilot, and I just basically hummed it to them, and they went in for lunch in less than an hour and came out, and I tried to get a copy of it to play to you, but I would put it up there with the Hawaii Five-0 theme song.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, it is phenomenal, especially when you consider that they went and did it during their lunch.
That's their lunch break.
Yeah. Anyway, side story.
Wow.
That's so
It shows how
fun.
talented the group was. Wow.
They're great.
Jeez.
Well, Paul, let's start with the beginning. What got you into camera work, and how did you get started working at Nickelodeon?
Well, my camera interest started when I was maybe 10 years old. I've always been, there's a whole history, family history, and how I got into that, which we don't need to go into, but I've always loved cameras. And it's a God thing. I mean, I have to, in retrospect, because I had no formal education, I moved to Florida, and within a year, actually, I was taking a filmmaking class at Seminole Community College because that's all that was available, filmmaking. And I was playing baseball because I love playing baseball. And they came in one day and said, "Does anybody know how to run a video camera? There's a band playing in the courtyard. We need someone to, videotape it." And I was like, "Oh, I do."
Nice.
And that changed my whole course of my life because all of a sudden I was at that point, I was even developing my own movie film. And all of a sudden you had this instant feedback. You could tape something and go, "Ooh." And within a month or two, I got hired by Cablevision. I ran their mobile truck because I had a technical background from being in the service, and ran their mobile truck and their studio. And then within a year of doing that, I did all kinds of things in Orlando that were, and I even directed early on, which kind of, I think there's a Tom Petty interlude there where I was with a band briefly when I got out of the service, just as a roadie, and we warmed up Tom Petty. Met Tom Petty in a smoke-filled elevator. We won't go any further than that. But I made friends with the lighting director, and he let me sit in the front row. And this was in Michigan, 1974, 75. And he let me sit in the front row, and I heard how they directed the show, which gave me a heads up later on how to call a show.
Just sidebar, I've jokingly referred to Paul as the Forrest Gump of the production world.
Because he's met so many people.
He's in the right place at the right time.
Well, and there's a little thing that I like to consider, especially Roundhouse, because it was the ultimate battlefield. And I don't mean people battling each other, but I always wanted to be a combat photographer. And fortunately, I didn't get that opportunity because my recruiter talked me into taking electronics. He goes, "You know photography already, take electronics. You'll get a whole year's worth of education." Well, that meant that the Vietnam War ended. And in retrospect, because I was gung ho, I was raised, fight communism.
Fight the power, man.
But anyway, I basically got an insight on how to direct stuff. And then when I was working at Cablevision, I directed and ran the mobile truck, and I did some programming in 1980 something. It was a series of live episodes from downtown Orlando where they did an editorial on me. Back in the days when they used to do a live editorial, the vice president or whatever, and Paul Klekotta has done all this and everything. And I went and asked him, "Would you write that into a letter?" Went to Disney, and the rest is history. I mean, except that whenever I don't know where this necessarily came from, but when I got into camera work, it wasn't like, okay, I'm good enough. I always wanted to be the very best, not to put other people down, but there's a whole another little side story how I
You liked what you did. You wanted to be really good at it. Yeah.
Well, and when I worked with the Japanese, and I got to travel in China, and I learned there's a Chinese word, kaizen or something. It's about every day being 1%.
Kaizen, continuous improvement.
Yes, and that's how I was. And then when I took Steadicam, and I did a lot of Steadicam work, the instructor had talked about how Steadicam is the difference between carrying a cup of coffee on your shoulder and you spill it all over the place and being able to hold it out here, and then you're smooth. And I went, so I don't really want to hold the camera on my shoulder. I mean, there are instances where you want it on your shoulder but when you put it on the palm of your hand, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can be, I mean, and there's stuff in Roundhouse that you look and people go, oh, that's really great Steadicam. And then you look and wait a minute, that's handheld.
Yeah.
And the same thing with putting the zoom control on top. I was the first, I mean, I used to have people laugh at me, but if you look at pictures, I mean, just being able to have there was nobody else that could do what I did because I went down a whole different
You're a
pathway.
pioneer.
Well, and this where it goes where in battle, in war, there's first lieutenants who come out of school and they think they know everything, but the first sergeant really knows what it takes to do battle. And I'm a first sergeant, you know, I mean, I know what it really takes. And I was forefront. I mean, there was times when if you could see behind the scenes where my utility was diving into place, you know, trying to keep up with me. And it was very much like, you know, Battlefield, you know, and so much fun that, and that's part of the reason I never, even towards the end of Roundhouse, I do kind of have this semi-regret because I could have directed because Bruce got busy. Bruce Gowers, by the way, phenomenal. And I shot the pilot with him, and he was the first one that made me aware of just how good I was. Because you don't know. I mean, you're just, and he's like,
if you're doing it yourself, it's like, oh, really? Am I this good? So I don't think you know as you're doing it, but if other people start noticing it, you're like, oh, that's great.
You need that feedback.
Yeah.
You
Well,
need to
and
know if
Bruce-
there's improvement that needs to be done or just how good you are.
And Bruce was a cameraman first before he was a director. And his quote to me, and he was like, Paulie, you're really good. You're coming to LA with me. And I got to live with Bruce and his family in Pacific Palisades for like 9 months, where I was his shadow. And I got stories with Bruce that are, I wish I had some pictures of different things that we did, you know, driving down Sunset Boulevard in his, you know, convertible Corvette, 68 Corvette with him in his pajamas. You know.
And his sunglasses.
But I could relate to Bruce because he was not about image. He was about, he loved television, you know, and it wasn't, you know, a bunch of shop talk. He knew what he was doing, and he was a maestro. And when I say maestro, he would literally be up, standing up and calling shots. And I love the guy a lot. I learned a lot from him.
That's awesome.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
When Roundhouse moved from Florida to California, did they take other crew members, or was it just?
Well, and this kind of gets into just how unfair and manipulative maybe, and I'm trying to be kind, but I shot the pilot. Bruce was amazed, and then it came to do the first year, and the crew calls went out, and I was nowhere to be found. And the person who got the handheld job, you know, I wouldn't have him shoot my wedding. I mean, honestly, you know, I'm not going to name
That
names.
bad, huh?
Oh, well, the difference between what I was doing and this person, and to relate to this is how bad TV can be. But later on, when I was shooting the Mickey Mouse Club field segments, and I shot most every field segment, in between seasons, he bought a camera and undercut me, like way undercut me. And they hired him and his camera until he went out the first time, and he didn't even know what neutral density was. And at that point, they were like, oh. So I ended up shooting for the final seasons of the Mouse Club using his camera. But that's how the business kind of works. And I think the difference is that artistic people do it because they love it. People that don't have the talent or are desperate or whatever, they'll do whatever they can, and they're manipulative and
Cut corners when they need to.
well,
I can do this cheaper. And then they find out that they
not only
can't.
cheaper, but they're well, MTV had a lot to do with bad camera work. You know, 'cause the very first episode I shot for the Mickey Mouse Club was a kind of famous woman director from LA, and I shot it, and it was called Pinocchio Jones. And she said afterwards, "Boy, you really understand motivation." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I didn't have any idea, but I did understand motivation. And that's one of the reasons with Roundhouse or any scripted show, I always memorized a script, because how you move the camera, even if you're trying to look random, there's a method to it. And the simple way to put it would be, like if you say the word yellow, you can kind of do a smooth move, but if it's can't do this, it becomes this, and you're motivated. It's not jazz and you just do your own thing. And I always, anybody that has done what I've done gets the same feeling, but you end up feeling like, especially with music, you're feeling like you're playing an instrument.
You're part of telling the story, I think that's something that's so cool about the production world, is that it's not just the people you see on screen that are communicating that story. They're just a minor part of it. There's, obviously the camera is like a huge part of it that we just never consider.
It's the window to the world that you're trying to tell. Like, it's amazing. And if it's shot well, then people are going to follow and pay attention, right?
Well, the most important thing, though, and I would use Breaking Bad as an example.
Oh.
Some of the worst camera work, some of the worst blocking on the planet, but the story and the acting overrides everything, but that's a side note. But going back to when I didn't get hired for the first season, Nickelodeon basically put up a roadblock. No, this is the person we're going to use. And I finally, which upset a lot of people, but luckily, because I was in good with Bruce, I had to call Bruce in LA and say, "Bruce," and he
intervened,
and got me back on as the handheld operator.
Wow.
And even when I was in LA, unless somebody was really following my skill set, there was nobody else available to do what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make me, a better person or anything else. It's just that I really had followed a whole path that no other handhelds were following.
Yeah. It's a testament to your skill and your craft.
I mean, especially if people remember you, they're like, this guy isn't getting the job done, so you come back and you shoot this. So
well, he didn't even get on the job. I got Bruce to get me back on before the first season started. But
okay.
Was that your first production at Nickelodeon?
No, I don't think so. I think I might have been working on Clarissa. And some of the game show stuff. I mean, there's so many different things, and I was working so many places that somebody is going to have to ring a bell for me to go, "Oh yeah, okay, that." But I was blessed. I mean, I was literally even flying back and forth, even when I was working on Roundhouse in California.
Oh, wow.
I was doing red eyes back and forth.
Oh, geez.
And I often wondered why Nickelodeon kept hiring me, especially because they were upset that Roundhouse had gone to California. And why are they still hiring me back there? But in retrospect, because I remember specifically doing promos, and they have a producer would have a list. Okay, Clarissa, Shelby Woo. What about Roundhouse? No, we definitely don't want to shoot. We've been told not to shoot any promos for Roundhouse. And that was right in my face. And
Right.
I wondered, but I think it was a way to kind of rub my face in it, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
But
Did they give you a reason, or did you ask
No,
why?
I didn't ask. I was just a camera guy, I
Okay.
mean, but it was done in a way that, because like I said, I wondered why they were still hiring me because they were definitely really upset with the fact that Roundhouse had, and with good reason. I mean, Orlando, and Hollywood East, and, I oftentimes knew too much, because I used to say that that Nickelodeon is going to leave Universal. It's only here temporary. And people were like, oh, how can you say that? But if you looked at who owned what, it was very similar to how and there was a competition between Disney and Universal to have the first studios. And Disney rented out the name MGM, and they rented out Nickelodeon, even though it was from a competitor.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, look at the history of who owned what. And you could just say, okay, this is a temporary thing. This is not.
It was, as my understanding, is just a mutually beneficial relationship. Nickelodeon got the studio space, Universal got the anchor to bring people to the park, and
And I think, if I remember right, and correct me, and we can look this up, but Nickelodeon was owned by Paramount, which was a complete competitor with Universal. But money buys things, to make things work. And the great thing about Roundhouse, though, too, is its whole run in California, they didn't need a theme park to get I mean, it was standing room only, buses of kids coming from all over California. While American Gladiators was across, the alleyway, there was a lot of competition for cool shows, but there was always.
which you also worked on, right? You worked on American Gladiators?
No. I actually dated an American Gladiator, but
That's
Oh, wow.
But
That'll be Splat Attack After Dark.
Sure. I wanted to ask too, since you worked on both the Mickey Mouse Club and on Roundhouse, being the fact that I'm sort of a new fan to the Roundhouse, I want to know, was it sort of the same formula with recording Mickey Mouse Club? Because I consider Roundhouse a better version of the Mickey Mouse Club.
no comparison. I mean, Mickey Mouse Club was inferior in a lot of ways, and there was a lot of talent because the mouse has a lot of capability to get talent from all over, and there was, but it didn't compare. I mean, if you were to watch old episodes of the Mouse Club and then Roundhouse, it's night and day. It's like stale bread and a fresh loaf.
Well, I mean, recording wise, is it kind of the same shots?
There was a stage, and they would do, the host and the kids, and they would say, okay, now here's and my whole time at the Mickey Mouse Club was shooting all the field segments, which was actually shot in a room not much bigger than this.
Wow.
Or out in the parks, I mean, I love the kids, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of, and I have a bad habit of not working well with people who, especially directors, and I won't say Mouse Club or Nickelodeon or Disney here, but as an example, I was shooting a segment, and the main director, not Bruce, obviously not Bruce, set this whole thing up, and he goes, okay, Paul, what do you think? I go, oh, whatever you say. And they had to reshoot it later because it was completely all wrong. But it's not my job as the cameraman, the director. But the business is full of people who end up, and I would actually use, I don't want to go there, but even major people to get directing credits, they get it because of their name. And it's people underneath them, the DP, director of photography, assistant director, that make sure they're not making any mistakes. But to me, it's like, okay, you're the director. And he got mad, but it was like, no, sorry, you're the director.
Yeah, that's your job. I'm not supposed to do your job.
And it wasn't magic either. It was basic TV.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that, anyway.
Well, I do know that there were some things that I know you really wanted to mention, which we'll get to that. But just speaking as a fan, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are watching this who are going to ask, what was so-and-so like? And I know you had mentioned this a few times, especially on social media, what it was like working with Melissa Joan Hart. So what was she like? Was she good to work with?
Oh, the best. I mean, she had a warm heart. She would oftentimes come out on the set before anybody else, sit and talk with the crew. She had a real interest in, production.
Wow.
She was genuine, you know, and she was always very well prepared. I don't think she ever flubbed a line hardly, you know. Um, I think, well, as and I think we talked before we started that I want to make sure that people are aware if they do have kids going into television that there's things that can happen, that it's not always some pervert taking advantage of your kids. It's maybe a parent that's not paying attention. It's, I mean, and here, the things that you see as a cameraman, like, well, Britney Spears would be a prime example. You could see that train wreck coming, you know, I mean, and maybe it's because of my background and coming from a dysfunctional family that I was like appalled and was like, oh, why isn't somebody, but nobody cared. And I can't say nobody cared. Maybe they just, but I saw it. I saw
Maybe
it
they
was
were
gonna-
oblivious, I guess.
And the same thing with all that. There's things that was going on. Whether it was purposeful or not, you can't demonstrate adult behavior in front of kids and not expect them to mimic it. You can't allow someone who's 13 or 14 to, at a rap party, chug a bottle of wine and nobody say anything about it. And that's, you know,
Wow.
but you know, and parents push too hard, you know, and or they're looking the other way and they're got their own life and they're not watching out for their children.
There's
I am a-
something so. Sorry, Manny, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna quickly ask, like, I'm a little curious between California and Orlando. Were there child labor laws in Orlando to have the kids work extra longer than it would be in California as you were recording?
I don't know specifically, but I can give you this example about how bad parents can get. Kids were being overworked, and one really good parent got all the parents together, and I'll say I can maybe get more specific elsewhere. I don't want to
No, it's fine. You're good
No
here.
worries.
but and went to the producers and said, "You're overworking our kids," and got everything to fall within what's legal. After the fact, half of those parents went back and says, disregard whatever you need for our kids to, you know, I don't know if I said that well, but they basically said, forget that meeting, use and abuse our kids because we're that desperate for fame for them.
Really?
There's something so sinister about viewing a child as an asset that is responsible for an ROI, and how that might influence the decision of either the production company or like the parent or the guardian. It's really uncomfortable at best.
Well, and I think because being a camera person, a photographer, I'm a good observer. So even if nothing is going on, I pay attention, just like with all that. And I got those pictures of certain people passed out on the set. But you kind of go, wait a minute, what is he really looking at here? Or what is this parent doing? Why are they chasing after a crew member for a relationship when they should be paying attention to their kid? You know?
Yeah, there was in the very early days of Nickelodeon, when they were making You Can't Do That on Television, Jeffrey Darby was talking about how he not only was auditioning the children, he was auditioning the parents. Because if there was really over controlling parents, or if there were parents that were pushing their children for stardom, he wouldn't take those kids. He said there was a lot of very talented kids that he wouldn't take because the parents were too much. Something that I think Nickelodeon lost sight of as time progressed, which you were just talking about with certain shows, all that in particular. But I know that something that you're very, very passionate about wanting to raise awareness for is any parent who has a child that is interested in doing performance of some kind. Be very, very careful. I mean, cool, awesome, have them do their thing, but stay vigilant in wanting to maintain the integrity of your child.
Hyper vigilant, I would say, because you know, it's not a kind world. It's you know, it's the same reason you got to watch out if your kids are at a playground. The evil that is amongst us are preying on kids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got, you know, just like the cheerleader competitions I worked on, you could almost pick out. In fact, I stared down one guy just because I realized why has he got that super long lens when he's not, you know, so you
Really?
got, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
Um, but you got to be hyper vigilant, you know,
Yeah.
and I think they deserve it, you know, because
Hmm.
they're
Once that's
kids.
gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to get that naivety and integrity and innocence of the world back once it's gone.
Or your
And
sanity in a lot of cases. I
yeah,
mean, there's some stories that I want to share, but I got to do a little more homework on. But what we talked about intertwined with drug use at a very young age,
Mm.
it's a recipe for a train wreck.
mhm.
Anyway,
So yes, not to be a downer for all of you who are listening, because we like to keep things fun and light on the show. But when there's a serious thing that needs to be brought up, we're happy to bring it up. And
Yeah.
speaking as
A
someone who
parent.
has speaking as a parent and how much it means to me, but hearing from somebody who has been, I mean, his job is to observe. It's the camera operator, which you were just saying. Uh, yes, if you've got kids and who want to get into this thing, cool. Be careful.
But pay
Please,
attention.
please be very, very careful. Parents, I love you. Do your jobs. It should not be the child's responsibility to take care of themselves.
Hmm.
But switching back, because we do want to talk more about Roundhouse, because I mean,
eh,
I'm all about representation for Roundhouse. It's a fantastic show.
Oh yeah.
So tell me more about your experience working on the show. I know that there was one shot in particular. I had seen you share it on social media, and even Benny Hester had said no one was able to do that. But there was something that you did in particular where there was one shot you were super proud of.
that would probably be the time travel.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a shot. It was, well, I guess it would be considered a shot. I mean, a lot of, I mean, um, because they would come to me and say, "Hey, we're going to do time travel. What can, excuse me, what can you come up with that would depict time travel?" And I actually, somebody was taking black and white pictures, and there was a shot with me and the cameras.
Mhm.
But even in retrospect, I'm like, how did I do that? Because I had to. Um,
You had to be in every nook and cranny. You know how you did it. That's
well,
cool.
because it was basically doing a 360 with the
Yeah.
camera and still keeping your subject matter in.
All in one
Uh,
shot. So that's
yeah,
crazy.
and it worked, you know.
Wow.
And a lot of things took. I think what was the song? "Live in My Room," Nirvana, or where they talk about cleaning their room.
Oh,
Mhm.
I can't.
Mark David
Yeah,
and
I
Sid.
think that wasn't the pilot episode, was it?
No, I don't think.
No,
No,
no.
because this was in L.A.
Yeah.
But that took me coming in days earlier and blocking just on my own every step because I actually walk. You know, there was a riser behind the band, 5, 6, 7 steps up, and then across, and then down. And I had to walk backwards down the steps, but it was a
Wow.
matter of knowing exactly how many steps because you're doing it blind. Um, and luckily in LA, you had some of the best utilities also. You had
Mm.
people that, a lot of people in Orlando were utilities wanting to be cameramen, but in LA, you had people that were, I'm a utility and I got your back.
Can you explain to
That's
the
good.
people who might not know who, the function of a utility or what a
Well,
utility is?
that's you got a cable because you're wired, and you got to have somebody that can under and over, stay behind you. Like I said, there's times when I had so many shots, you had to literally burns on my knees from sliding into place, and they would have to be right there with me. And know what I knew and what I was going to do to make it all work. And a good utility, unfortunately, even in NFL games and stuff, they'll hire people out the street to be utilities, and it shows. But
Oh, it's like, I think I can. That there I will.
Oh, I can do that. I can hold a cable.
It's simple. it's not like, not really.
I actually enjoy being a utility. I mean, because it is a precise, it's like feeding ammunition to a gunner or something.
I love live shows because you could actually see the person behind the cameraman doing that, and they have to move super quick no matter what. It's like an art form that I've seen. It's cool, really cool.
Well, and speaking of art form, the thing that I hear now, and it's so often, oh, we got the A team. This is the A team for this. Roundhouse was an A team from top to bottom.
Yeah, they're precise.
But now you hear that all the time, especially in places like Orlando. We got the A team, and it's like, you have no idea, what an A team. It's like, and you can equate this too to like Major League Sports. There's only 1 or 2% that are superstars, and when I say superstars, I don't mean it makes me better than a person, but A team is when everybody is in that top 1 or 2%, and that doesn't happen everywhere all the time. It's as rare as winning the World Series,
And you guys shot and edited straight to tape, right? There was no back, rewind the tape, do the shot again.
No, I mean, if there was a drastic, and later on there was newer people that, for whatever reason, didn't do their homework. That you would have to go back and do something over again. But 99% of the time, it was live from the opening to a commercial break to the next, and that's intense. I mean, that is, and the cool thing about it, and I wasn't super muscular, but I wasn't, which is oftentimes people think you got to be really muscular to do Steadicam, and I know some operators that are real muscle heads, and that's a hindrance. No, it's like saying, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be a good ballet dancer. It doesn't work. No, because camera work. Well, no, you got to be lean and mean and be able to bend all different ways, and
it's not a tutu.
Yeah.
Well, tell us, I know you had some photos that you had brought. What are some of the photos that you brought with you?
Oh, gosh. Well, did I show this one already?
No. Well,
Not on the show, no.
It's an anniversary poster that I did for the 25th anniversary, and it's a lot of, besides having the videotapes, I actually have 1,000 photos of behind the scenes of Roundhouse.
Wow.
And I put it together into a collage commemorative for the 25th anniversary. Anyway, that's
beautiful,
cool.
Man.
It brings back a lot of memories to me, and I think at some point, because I do want to start a podcast, and I have a YouTube channel, which you guys have reinvigorated my interest in trying to do something where I can talk more,
like openly about it.
Yeah, and more, and I really do want to write a book, but I would make this available to anybody that would find my YouTube channel at Klekotta, Kleekotta, and I also am going to start a podcast under Outlaw Camera, which is, with Carl's help, I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but I'm definitely going to call it Outlaw Camera, so look for that. If you don't,
Yeah,
if
so
you want.
everybody, if you are listening, if you are watching, well, I'll have the link to his YouTube channel down below. Please let me know when you get that podcast running. I will add it to the
Yeah.
description of this episode. So anybody who wants to check it out, please go check it out because the man's got a lot of stories that we don't have time for here.
Yep.
But go ahead,
thank you
continue.
very much. And my favorite, she was incredible.
Oh,
And that was Madonna Reed.
she's so sweet.
Yeah, she was so sweet and just spot on every time, just like Dad, John Crane.
John Crane.
Just never, I don't think they ever blew a line,
Well,
Oh, that does not surprise me at all.
No, of how quick they have to do it. Yeah. And I'm sure I haven't seen these, but I'm sure Carl has. Like, you've seen the dress rehearsal episodes. They're like slightly different than what originally gets shot, or is it sort of the same pacing that you've seen?
Well, it's a dress rehearsal, it was, they may tweak some things for the camera blocking, but it was run as if it was a live show. They would stop if there was a flub and they needed to change something. But it was also, there was a lot of adult things going on. And
I'm sure. I'm definitely sure.
And it was always fun to make her, Sean, just laugh out loud because
We do that here.
Well,
Sean,
she would.
Sean DeWalt is she's one of the very, very few from Roundhouse that we have not had the opportunity to speak with yet. And I know she's very, very private with her life, and I completely respect that. I hope to one day have her on the show and hear some stories from her. But from what I've heard from others who have been on the show, including yourself, how wonderful she is.
Yeah, delightful. Let's see. Oh, and of course, Julene.
Yes, Julian Renee.
Incredible. That's all you can say. And laugh out loud funny, even on her own.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because I always tell people the two hardest things to film are comedy, because if you laugh, it's all over with.
Yeah.
Or something really sad that makes you cry, because then you can't see. Fortunately, with Roundhouse, it was so fast paced, you didn't have time to laugh. I was literally, while I'm filming this last line, I'm looking and going, okay, and going there. So
yeah, because you're not paying attention to the show. You have to pay attention to where your mark is at, right?
Well, and composition and what line and when you're going to go and what's you're hearing in your headset. I think during rehearsals, there was a lot more latitude to just laugh out loud.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
But you couldn't afford it. You could not afford to get distracted and lose your train of thought.
Especially not in Roundhouse. Not as fast as that show was. You cannot miss something.
And I actually screwed up on the beginning of, no, it was a live show. My bad. This is time travel. A group shot of, probably hard to see, but maybe you can put it up on the screen at a later time.
Yeah.
But they used the outhouse for time travel, if I remember right. And it still cracks me up. There's Waldo.
Chris Waldo. That was a great joke.
And where's Peanut? Well, and here's a side little story, because they would do a warm-up. And maybe a 10-minute warm-up to get the audience going.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And at numerous times, Sid, Mark David, Ivan would, and some of the other cast members would take my camera and try to do just that warm-up. And they couldn't do it. They would be literally, how do you do this? How do you do a whole show? But anyway, side note.
And they still do stuff together. They have been inseparable. They are a fantastic duo.
Has anybody ever been in the way? Like when you're trying to move the camera to somewhere else, has someone been like not paying attention and just like, oh, you accidentally bump into them or something? Has that ever happened?
I was more in the way often, I think, because I had to work in really close. I was,
oh, yeah.
And I think, just like I was said, at the beginning of the live show, if you look at the very beginning, I'm caught like, a deer in the headlights, and it's pretty funny now. But I feel like, oh gosh, I was I was late. It was what it was, and it was live, so there was no going back. And probably when I say most talented, it's hard because there was so much talent on the show. But Mark David, oh my goodness. I mean, sang, dance, comedy, and I feel bad because I always pictured him and Crystal, because they did a number together, and it was magical. And and of course Crystal left, and there's a whole, I don't even know if I want to get into how that all came about, but he was a superstar. He could sing and dance and do comedy, and it was kind of left in the dust, which is another sad story.
And he is incredibly modest. And the times that we've had him on the show, fans would talk about how great he was. So the other cast members would say how great, and he's just, I'm okay. Like, no, dude, you're not just okay. You're great.
He's a very humble, grounded guy then. That's cool.
Well, and it goes to that, I think previously, it's not always the most talented who work their way forward. There was less talented cast member who did what he could to advance, and made it much farther than Mark David, with not even that much talent compared to Mark David. And I'll get into that someday. It's another one of those moments where if I knew what I knew now, I would have said something to maybe it would have kept Crystal on the show. Because to me, Roundhouse losing Crystal was like the Little Rascals losing
Alfalfa.
No, the girl.
Darlene?
Darlene. That's how important she was to the whole chemistry, and for her to be gone, they never. And as talented as other people were that came in to try to fill that void, it wasn't the same. And there was magic between her and Mark David that just never had a chance after that. Anyway.
During the pandemic, I started like the Nick2 brand as a way to stream live SNCC broadcasts, just to bring people together. And Mark David would join those just out of nowhere. He wouldn't enter and say, "Here I am." You had to like squeeze, answers of episodes out of him. But just as a testament, such a cool dude, just to want to be a part of the community, to appreciate Roundhouse together.
Sure.
And I think it as part of my situation with Roundhouse and other shows is I was more involved than just with the show. I mean, there was often times when I'm a bit of a eclectic adventurer, and rather than getting a hotel room, I oftentimes would sleep on Gilligan's Island, because no, it was right behind the soundstage, and it was like, how cool is this? I can sleep on Gilligan's Island.
That's awesome, man.
Or even in the soundstage. I remember sleeping in the soundstage, and there was like a 3-point some earthquake, and you're watching all the lights go and everything. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool.
I love TV myself, and if I was doing what you were doing, I probably would do the same. I wouldn't get a hotel. I would just love to sleep on the set. That would be awesome. That would be so cool.
But it also, just like with sleeping in some, I slept in dressing rooms and stuff. You hear things, you're told things, just like. That's one of the reasons I love Mark David so much, because I know he was honest and real, as opposed to another cast member who, I'll get into that later. But it ended up being such a negative that Mark David suffered, and the show suffered for it, even though it was still a great show. Losing her was like losing Darla, anyway. And speaking of Gilligan,
I want to talk about that. What was that for? Like, what was that from?
That was oh gosh.
Like, was that one of the TV specials?
He was at Disney for some reason. And if you
Okay.
look close, I used to, and even crew shots and stuff. There's a whole story about. I had worked on ESPN Outdoors, and I came up with this phony fish camp called the McPud Fish Camp,
Okay.
which became so popular. I used to have people coming to my house, going, "We're looking for the McPud Fish Camp." It was funny. I mean,
That's
and so
incredible.
if you look close at this, you can see I got a fishing pole in my hand. I mean, there's
That's
even it's just my wacky sense of humor.
no, that is awesome though. It's like it's you with Gilligan. That's a huge deal. That's
No, it is.
awesome.
Um, and he was very cool. He was
Yeah.
super nice, laid back.
Oh yeah, Bob Denver's amazing.
I
He's
mean,
so chill.
he's got a fishing pole in his hand too. He went along with it.
I love it. Man, I love that. That is so cool.
I mean, if you look at a lot of my autographs, I mean, I got an autograph. I did a thing with Mel Brooks and Jonathan Winters, and
Get out of here. Really?
oh, I should have brought those pictures. But I made Mel Brooks laugh out loud. I told him a McPud joke, and he says, "That's effing funny."
Yes. Oh, that's great. Wow.
I've been blessed. I've been really blessed. If you can imagine working with Mel Brooks, Jonathan Winters. I mean, you were laughing your butt
That's
off big time.
yeah,
That was at the
definitely.
same time Soul Train was filming next door, and me and my utility and I got kicked off the dance floor from Soul Train. And there's another whole.
Oh,
I
we
got
gotta
pictures.
know the story. Wow.
Well, I was a big Bullwinkle and Rocky and Bullwinkle fan, and so we
Who
went
wasn't?
well, there was a store on Sunset Boulevard where they sold, and it's no longer there. And I bought what was the evil guy's name?
Boris.
Boris. I had a
Natasha and
Boris
Boris.
shirt, and my utility had a Natasha shirt. And we went out on the dance floor, and they tried like 3 times stop and tape. Hey, you guys get off! 'Cause we couldn't even dance. But we ended up getting thrown off the dance floor, and it was a good laugh.
That's great.
I got pictures and video of it. So
We're in the dance floor. We're looking for moose and squirrels. It's like, God. That's tremendous. I love that.
But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
another one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
And this is a case what I got out of this is talent can take the average skit and make it fabulous. And that's what all that was. There was no, to my recollection, any exceptional writing. A lot of it was just ideas that had been done before. And the Loud Librarian with Mary Beth.
Yeah.
That's just okay. But she made it so funny, you know. And the same thing with Keenan and Kel. Okay, we'll put somebody in a bathtub in a rain gear and have him say something stupid. And they made it, their acting and their comedy capabilities,
It's
they
their
made it
delivery. Yeah.
yes, exactly. But anyway, I got lots and lots more pictures. I just didn't know what to bring. And anyway.
We would love to have you on again
Yes.
to tell us more of these really interesting stories. That is tremendous. Like, wow. I am on cloud 9 right now listening to this.
Well, another cool thing about Roundhouse is that we became, if you look at, I mean, we were like family, and being there, I was there for rehearsals, we were there for lunch breaks, we were there, like I said, I slept on Gilligan's Island, and there's a lot of, you have my rap tape, but that there's some funny stuff there that they were just coming up on their own, and that was a daily occurrence. If
The
there
Bill
was just
Cosby
dinner-
stuff at the lunch table and everything. Like,
yeah,
that's hilarious.
And I wish I had it all recorded, but it was such a it was a grand adventure that unfortunately nobody saw that it was going to end, and that was a real stab in the back thing.
Yeah,
from Nickelodeon.
that was because they were just about to really take off. I mean, they were already doing so well, but then they had such big plans and then have it all cut out from underneath them.
Well, they were going to go on tour.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know
no
if you know
kidding.
that. No, they were, and
And they were
Spike-
working on working on an album that they were going to release, and that didn't get to happen. And I mean, they had big plans, and they had the fan base to do it.
Oh yeah, big time.
I don't think people remember what a highly regarded show it was at the time.
It was huge
because of the way that Nick seemed to squash it. You didn't see the, backgrounds too often. They weren't really a part of the interstitials or anything like that. And
I don't know why. Were they threatened? Like, do you think they would have felt like they would have been bigger than Nickelodeon? Like,
well,
I don't know.
It was because they left Orlando, went to California, and I can't prove this, but there was, Benny and Rita were both really Christian. I mean, it was I hate to say Nickelodeon was ungodly, but you don't do the things or allow things that happen without some kind of darkness going on. And
Jeez.
I could get even to more specifics there, because there was other things that are definitely not Christian. I don't know, in retrospect, it's easy to, I would have never thought that back then. I just figured, okay, they're mad because we went to California, but I think that there was another level of hateful and resentfulness, because I don't know if you know, Benny Hesser was a major Christian star, and there was always a good message behind, episodes of Roundhouse, and it just delights people sometimes to pee on other people's parades, I guess. I don't know.
I guess. Jeez.
Yeah, because Nickelodeon intentionally pulled Roundhouse to put in all that, and not to belittle all that, because all that was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all that when I was a kid, like so many other 90s Nick kids, but the talent on camera and behind the camera on Roundhouse is far superior. I have never seen a show, especially for children's entertainment, that has done the things that Roundhouse has done, and to have that buried is a shame. And that's something that we try to do here at this show. We want to highlight all these shows. I mean, Nickelodeon has had its changing of the guard through the years. It's had its incredible ups and its low of lows. Now, I am more prone to the idea that Nickelodeon's lowest was more in the 2000s and less in the 90s. Not to say that the 90s was pristine, but there's so much more great in 90s Nickelodeon, especially with Geraldine Laybourne, who was in charge at the time. But there's still a lot of really good, but Roundhouse, that show needs more recognition.
Like I said, I'm a new fan, and I was like, I'm completely blown away by the talent on this show alone. So me growing up on 90s Nick and not seeing this show until a couple years back, I was like, wow, I really missed out on this. This was immensely talented group of kids. They were great.
That's good to hear too, because it means it hasn't aged badly.
Not at all. Not at all. I feel like people would love this, especially with now at the TikTok age now. People would eat this up no matter what.
And even the jokes that have aged, it's part of the fun of the segment,
Because there's so many pop culture references of that time, but there's so many content creators out there that are focused on trying to preserve this 90s pop culture in general, that this stuff is still, people still remember these things.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a great show. It needs to be out more. But I think that's going to have to do it for this episode, because we're just about at the hour mark. But again, I'm going to have you plug one more time. What is your YouTube channel, and what's the podcast going to be once you get it going?
Well, I'm going to call the podcast Outlaw Camera. I'm also working on a book that I'm going to call that. But my YouTube is just under my last name, Klekotta, and I hardly touch that stuff, because I've been actually at a point where I've almost been in hiding, and it was Carl that not hiding, but I'm happy to raise my chickens and my turkeys and my dog. I got a dog named Bat Dog he's a star. I wish I could have brought him on the show. He's a star.
What kind of dog?
He showed up at my porch, a little tiny puppy. He's a Zolo Squintly, I don't know how to pronounce that exactly.
Oh, okay.
Hairless, they predate Chihuahuas.
Oh,
But people, I mean, I make up stories all the time about him and winning awards and how he's a world traveler, and people love it. And they say, "Oh, you got to put him on TikTok or something." But
Yeah, he received his official traveler's cap this morning, right?
yeah, no, he won a canine camper of the year. He
That's
got
right.
he got a coonskin cap and a lifetime subscription to Squeaker of the Month Club.
I love that. That is awesome. Wow.
But, anyway, I don't know what else
No,
should
but
I say.
Please
you're
come
good.
back. Come back on the show, please.
Yeah. And you've got
cool.
my contact info. We've talked on Facebook a handful of times. So whenever you get something going, please let me know. I would be more than happy to share.
Yeah, we
anything
would
that you've
more
got
than
coming
happy.
along.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I guess I did good.
Oh, you did great.
You did fantastic, man.
And like I said, he's got tons of stories that we just didn't have time to get to in this 1 hour episode. But I hope to have Paul on again, and I can't wait to hear your exploits in your podcast and read your book once you get it going.
Yeah.
But thank you again.
Thank you very much.
And Carl, thank you for helping get this put together for us.
Seriously, Carl, you're the MVP, man. Great job.
pleasure.
Great job.
Definitely.
I've been richly blessed to get to know you, Paul.
Oh,
And I mean, so much of in the Nickelodeon collection was yours. Like I get to be the caretaker of it, and that's not something that I hold lightly. So thank you for letting me be part of your world.
and thank you for making me feel like it wasn't all a waste of time. I never thought that, but I thought it was lost to history. And I can't thank you enough because I feel invigorated and I want to share more and do more.
Yeah, please do.
Excellent. Please
Because
do.
a part of what we do on this show is we want to preserve as much of this as possible while there's still people around to share these stories, because there's so much that we don't know, and it's not like we're digging for dirt, because that's not what we're about.
No.
But we want the history, we want the reality, we want all the good and the bad and all the stuff in between. So please keep going. You're doing great stuff.
Thanks.
But to all of you Slimesters, thank you again for listening. We've got a couple other Conversation With episodes coming up this season that I'm excited about. I can't help it. I love getting to talk with these guys. So until our next episode, as always, thank you for listening. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll splat you later.
Splat you later.
Bye.
This episode was recorded at Splat Attack Studios and virtual home studios, though none in Florida.